This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of CWK Live every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm your host, Dan Zaire, delighted to be talking Star Wars with each and every one of you. Looks like I got a blue light spazzing out over here, so don't mind that. Let's bring in our friends. Hello, Minta. This is the way. It's CWK Day. Hello, Minta. Great to see you. Adam returns. Adam, awesome to have you on the show. Happy Tuesday, Mary. Great to see you too. And look who's back. It is the Weaver himself, Mr. Blake Weaver. Hello, Blake. Great to see you, buddy. Hope you had a nice vacation. Terry, hey, hello, and welcome to you, my friend. Well, we have got a fun show for you. We have got your top 5 moments from Ahsoka, the entire series so far. We're going to go through your top 5 moments. We've got some New York Comic-Con news, and we have your comments and questions. Scott Summers is here. Hello, Scott. Great to see you, buddy. Father Jimmy is here, checking in from inside the DC Beltway. Hello, Father Jimmy. Great to see you. And Julie is here. Hello, Julie. Great to see you. Nice to have you on the show. Darren is here. Hello, Darren. And so is Robert. Delightful. I love seeing all of your happy faces. Let's go ahead and jump into what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week.
And now, let's see what's brewing in the Star Wars universe this week.
All right, this is going to be fun. I mean, I guess I say that every week, but because Star Wars is fun. So let's take a look at what is going on here. First, we've got a number of pieces of information from New York Comic-Con, which was last weekend. And a lot of great books were announced. This is the Lightsaber Collection, written by Daniel Wallace. This is all of the lightsaber hilts from the High Republic, which is, of course, the New York Times bestselling book series. It takes place 200 years before The Phantom Menace, and it's amazing. A lot of incredible talent working on that. Lucasfilm has worked very, very hard to bring you incredible books, and now you've got lightsabers. And look at those hilts. I love the one on the left. I'm not sure who the Jedi is that owns that one, but they're terrific. So that'll be a fun one. There was a similar lightsaber book a couple of years ago, but this has a lot of them from the High Republic. So this is a visual archive of Return of the Jedi. A number of authors are working on this. Kelly Knox, for example. But I am spotlighting one of my very best friends, Clayton Sandell. Congratulations, Clayton, on another Star Wars book. Look at you taking over. Love it. So I wanted to give a shout out to Clayton. And be sure to be on the lookout for Star Wars Return of the Jedi, a visual archive. Carrie Sandberg is here. Hello, Carrie. Great to have you on the program as well. Okay, speaking of Kelly Knox, she wrote a book of Star Wars dad jokes. Now, the first person I thought of was Aaron Harris, because on Star Wars Reactions, Aaron Harris does the Star Wars dad joke of the week, and I know he will absolutely love this. Kelly has been writing really funny Star Wars dad jokes on Twitter for a long time, and knowing that she's collected some and created new ones, undoubtedly, I haven't talked to Kelly about this, so I'm just guessing. She's got a lot of Star Wars dad jokes, and Leia on the cover groaning. That's great. So that's going to be fun if you are a fan of that kind of humor, and I absolutely am. This is going to be the way to go. So we've got some comic book news as well. I don't have all of the images on here for you, but I've got a number of them. You've got Star Wars Mace Windu, Mace Windu, excuse me, a miniseries coming out written by Mark Bernardin. And that should be really, really well received. Mace, of course, is a very popular character. And then you've got Charles Soule and Kevin Scott returning to do some more incredible work on Phase 3. Oh, I should say on the Star Wars The High Republic comics, but these are from Phase 3. And you've got Markion Rowe holding the lightsaber that does not belong to him. And that's a long story I won't spoil for anyone. And then on the right, you've got Lorna D. Fighting as well. And there's a lot of interesting things that are going to happen there. So be on the lookout for that. Now, speaking of the High Republic, I'm sure you saw this. It was posted on Coffee with Kenobi today, coffeewithkenobi.com, but also it was posted on StarWars.com. This is the Legacy lightsaber from the High Republic. This is Stellan Gios' lightsaber. It's got a spectacular crossguard, which was made famous in the novels and on the cover of several of the High Republic books. But now we've got our first Legacy lightsaber from the High Republic. It's got to be a huge thrill for the folks at Lucasfilm Publishing, and it comes with that crossguard already. So you have to add your own lightsaber blade, but there is an image of it. There's some great images on the website. There's Charles Soule holding it at New York Comic Con. That's a great picture. I really like that look too, Charles. I like that cardigan. And then Claudia Gray's face here holding this thing is so fantastic. The smile on her face and that joy, it just warms my heart. So I love to see that. I thought that was just so charming. Now look at this. I wouldn't qualify this or consider this as charming, but I would say it's terrific. This is a Star Wars The Clone Wars Darth Vader Milestones statue. I think this is a third in this series, if I'm not mistaken. They are numbered. I don't know if there's 300 or 500 of those. I can't remember. But this one is the last episode of The Clone Wars, where Vader is walking across this frozen planet, and he finds Ahsoka's lightsaber, and he ignites it. Josh says she is so fun, referring to Claudia. Yes, she is fantastic. Terry wants to know, they announced a release date for that saber. So I actually spoke with Disney about that, and all they said was that it's coming this fall. So at this point, we're not sure. But Terry, as soon as I find out anything, I will certainly spread the word. Darren says a classic Excalibur look. Exactly, which is just fabulous. Here's another image of this Vader statue. It gives you the dimensions as far as the height of it, a better angle of that Ahsoka clone trooper saber embedded in the snow, and again holding that blue lightsaber, which you're not accustomed to seeing with Vader, but boy oh boy, it's just so cool. Robert says, I'll need to make some more room on my lightsaber shelves. Yeah, and I'd say, I hear you, my friend. I'm thinking the exact same thing, and boy, will it look nice. So these are from Heroes and Villains, which of course I spotlight every week because I am partnering with them. They gave me a code. You just put in the code coffee for anything. It doesn't have to be Star Wars related, but I'm guessing Star Wars might be your cup of, tea, coffee, And as you put in the code coffee, you get 20% off your order. This is a Lady Tano navy tea. They also have it in black, but I spotlighted the navy because I'm just more partial to that color. So that is a really cool shirt. And then we have an Ahsoka convertible weekender bag, which has got a lot of features. And you can see the Orbesh on the strap itself. It's very customizable. I don't really know a ton about weekender bags, but I saw it and I thought, well, that looks like I would imagine people would think is cool. That is my scientific researched analysis of that situation. So there you go. The Ahsoka convertible weekender bag. Again, use the code coffee for 20% off your order from Heroes and Villains. Blake says Heroes and Villains makes amazing geek clothing. I love them. Dude, I know, right? So seriously, next time you order something, use the code coffee. You'll get 20% off. Minta just got the Ahsoka Cal neck shirt along with the D&D shirt. Very comfortable. Sweet. I love that. I'm so happy. Minta, I hope you're able to use the code as well. Carrie loves that Ahsoka bag. I knew it would be a highlight. It's super cool. And Mary agrees they always have high quality items. They really do. They've got so many nice things. But as much fun as that is, I know there's a different reason that you're here. We're going to talk about our top 5 moments from Ahsoka. Let's dive in. Your top 5 moments from Ahsoka. I didn't put season 1 because I don't know how many seasons there are going to be. And honestly, in my opinion, which again, I have no insights on, of course I don't. I mean, just ask Deanna. She would laugh at that. No, I'm not saying season 1 because I don't know. And with the writer's strike, the writer's strike is over, but with the actor's strike, I can't fathom that anyone would announce any projects or even talk about any what they're hoping to do. So all we've got is Ahsoka, the first 8 episodes. I love them. We're going to celebrate them. Father Jimmy says, some of my moments are more like themes or motifs. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad, dude, because well, you'll see. I don't want to spoil it, but I know exactly what you were saying. So let's dive in. I don't know why that light is flickering. Sorry. Just my, just the perfectionist in me. I'm not really a perfectionist, but I like things not to flicker. All right. The ghost in live action. So it's a small thing. But to me, the ghost is something I love so much. I love Rebels so much. So seeing the ghost in live action on screen for a prolonged amount of time, not just as a quick pass in Rogue One, which is great, but this was much more concentrated and focused. And seeing it in a couple of episodes was really wonderful to me and gave me a huge thrill. So I was happy to see that. That is my number 5. Adam's number 5 is lightsaber duels, Purrgil and Thrawn. Oh my, I like how you combine that, and I like the Wizard of Oz angle there too. Minta's 5, Hugh Yang's live action debut. It was a delight to see him again. His knowledge of the Jedi, along with his wisdom, helped tie things together. Yes, Minta, that is great. I loved Hugh Yang too. He's one of my favorite characters in this series for sure. Terry says the recreation, my apologies, of the Rebels series finale where Sabine walks up to the painting, touching Ezra's face and turns to see Ahsoka watching behind her. And I'm wondering about that. I don't know if they recreated it in the series, saying it happens twice or what, because Ahsoka was wearing different apparel in that sequence as opposed to what she's like in Rebels when she's wearing all white. So I don't know, but I thought it was beautifully powerful and well done. Mary says C-3PO dropping Leia's name. That was her number 5. That was quite a thrill too. I had forgotten about that one. Robert's number 5, Ahsoka's dispatching Merrick. Oh, cool. That was a good fight sequence too. Merrick. I never can remember how to pronounce that. Carrie says seeing Hera pilot the Ghost. Fantastic. Yes, that was a thrill for me too. Darren says introducing a new galaxy, which can open a vast amount of new possibilities. An excellent point. Father Jimmy says live action Purrgils. That was a thrill. That was a spectacular thing to see as well. I love that, and I thought that the animation, the effects on that were spot on. I mean, really, it's not, I would think, and I don't know because I've never made anything like this before, but I would think taking something from animation and bringing it into live action would probably be a great challenge. I'd like to ask Dave about that. That'd be interesting. Josh says the end credits, graphics, and music. Oh no, Josh, that's a great call. I had not thought about mentioning the music, but if I had, it would have been on my top 5. And the ending of that, the end credits are actually great. Number 4 is Baylan and Shin's dynamic. Look, I would have put it like in the top 3. Maybe even I could have even been persuaded to put it in 2. But I was disheartened by how they were just sort of unceremoniously thrown into the final episode and nothing really was wrapped up with them. So that's why that wasn't higher. But when they were featured and they were an integral part of one of the subplots, I loved them. I loved their dynamic together. I wanted to know more about their connection, how they met. They have loyalty between the two of them, but then they sort of part. And I want to know more about that. What I did get, I loved, and it made my top 5 for sure. Okay. Let's see. Number 4 for Minta. Baylan and Shin had a very unique relationship as master and apprentice, yet Baylan still held onto some of the old ways of the Jedi, but Shin was eager to gain victory without planning properly. How will this play out for these two in the future is unknown, yes, and I hope we get to see it. It's a shame we won't get to see it with Ray Stevenson, but I do want to see what happens. Adams 4, C-3PO presenting Hera's get out of jail free card. I like how you explain that. Very clever. Carrie's number 4, seeing Purrgil in intergalactic rainbow hyperspace with Ahsoka, etc. in the mouth of the Purrgil. Yes, an intergalactic rainbow hyperspace is something that initially when I saw it, I thought, oh, that's cool. And I didn't even think about the fact that it shows are going faster than fast. Don't I do that in Spaceballs? Maybe that's something else. That was pretty fun. And Mason actually pointed that out to me. 4 for Terry is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Filoni paying his respects to George Lucas in so many ways. Yes, I really like how you explain that, Terry. And that is a nice little wink to George. Robert's number 4 is quite simply C-3PO. And how fun is that? Mary number 4, the Kinder family music made every episode so much better. I agree. It was really awesome. 4 for Father Jimmy. The episode titles, they provided great references and allusions to some of my favorite works of fiction, especially Macbeth and Narnia. Yeah, I like those parallels too. Just so fun and smart, especially as an English major. How could I not love that? Darren's number 4, the lightsaber duels throughout were top notch. They were another level, weren't they? Jason's here. Hello, Jason. Great to see you, buddy. Says number 4, magic in the galaxy, not just the Force. Yeah, and they actually have talked about this in the Star Wars book and other things, that the magic is just sort of another way that people use the Force. So they kind of work together, and it's pretty neat. So good catch, Jason. Number 4 for Josh, a long time ago, like Terry had mentioned earlier, a really wonderful sequence, a really wonderful little moment. Let's go to number 3. Number 3, the Clone Wars flashback. That encompasses a lot of things, kind of. But in the World Between Worlds episode, I can't remember the official title right now. I'm sure somebody else does and can put it in there for me in the comments, which I appreciate. But seeing Hayden as Anakin, seeing Rosario as Ahsoka, and then a younger Ahsoka, and seeing the sequences through some of the more iconic battles in the Clone Wars, but with live action actors, the flashbacks with Vader, that was just amazing. Tamira Morrison as Captain Rex, that was very special. And I'm sure I'm not alone when I say, boy, wouldn't that be awesome if we had live action Clone Wars. And I don't know, I can't imagine that will happen, but it was sure wonderful to see it in that episode. I loved it. It was really cool. I kept saying to myself, and out loud, I can't believe I'm seeing this. It was like a dream come true. Carrie's number 3, the Chimera docking with intense music as Thrawn walks through his army for the first live action time. Yes, that was a spectacular Star Wars sequence. You know what I mean? Minta's 3, seeing Ahsoka train with Anakin one last time was a joy. From going through her past in the Clone Wars to dealing with her old master, she was able to gain her conviction to complete Sabine and to move forward as a renewed Jedi. Well said, Minta. Adam's 3 is everything Hu Yang. Hu Yang is awesome. Robert brings up a great point. Number 3 for Robert is live action Lothcats. How could I forget that? That was pretty great. Terry's 3, the lightsaber battles were the best choreographed fights of any series or single movie produced in the Star Wars franchise. Wow, that's high praise, and I don't know that I could disagree with that. They were pretty great. I don't know if it was the same choreographers or not, or maybe just different athleticism. I don't know, but it was really terrific. Mary's number 3 is World Between Worlds Clone Wars flashbacks. Absolutely terrific. Father Jimmy echoing what Terry said, the samurai-esque lightsaber fights, which are tremendous. Darren's number 3, having Ezra as well as most of the Rebels cast in live action. Yes, pretty awesome. I haven't mentioned Ezra yet. Burnt Waffle is here. Hello, Burnt Waffle. And he says, they say, I like the part where Anakin was walking away and transforming into Darth Vader and back again. That was great. And that tied into my number 3. I thought that was just really well done. Beautifully edited, too. Jason's 3. To see more force-wielding Jedi survivors out there besides the Skywalkers. Nice to see. I also think it's cool that you can honor the idea that when I am gone, the last of the Jedi, will you be? Which Yoda says to Luke. And there are other Jedi, but they're not around. They're doing other things. Or in other galaxies. Or they're in hiding. So that is pretty cool. It makes you wonder, did Yoda know that Ahsoka was out there? I would think so. I don't know. Maybe she just wasn't tuned into the Force then. I don't know. I can't wrap my brain around that. I'll probably get a headache. Not really. All right, let's go to number 2. Number 2, Ahsoka trains Sabine. So that happens a lot, but the only concentrated moment is when Sabine is wearing that training helmet. I believe it's the 3rd episode. And she is fighting with that little wooden samurai stick. And she keeps walking around and tapping Sabine. And it's on the Jedi ship. And Hu Yang is making commentary. It's just a very spiritual moment. And in fact, I think I said this was one of the better maybe it was the 4th episode, but it was one of the better Star Wars feels as far as like, there was like a space battle in that episode, the cool stuff with the Purrgil, new stuff with the lightsaber, but Ahsoka training Sabine in the beginning, there's just something very holistic and wonderful about that sequence that I really, really loved. So that made it all the way to number 2 for me because it had that big of an impact on me. Carrie's 2, seeing Ezra unite with Sabine and Ahsoka felt real and genuine, so heartwarming. Completely agree. Jason weighs in on what I said about, do you think Yoda knew Ahsoka was out there? He says he had to. I think so too. Mary's number 2, Hugh Yang, just everything Hugh Yang. I love it. I love that Hugh Yang is having such an impact on people. He was terrific. Adam's number 2 is the blind man's bluff lightsaber training, similar to my number 2. Mean says 2, there were several cameos in the series. We had Anakin, Hera, Ezra, Morgan, Chopper, Lothcats, Mon Mothma, C-3PO, Night Sisters, and Thrawn. I hope we can see more of them in the future. Yes. And some of those cameos ended up being like extended, just not even cameos, but just like actual parts. But we got so few moments with them. So I know what you're saying. And they were pretty great, weren't they? Number 2 for Robert, Thrawn, and his outstanding makeup and contacts. Those contacts were terrific. Darren's 2 is Thrawn in live action, which I know a lot of people were so excited to see. I know at Star Celebration Europe, people went nuts when they showed the back of his head. So that was, and then we got to see the whole thing. So that was great. 2 for Terry. Anakin's return to teach Ahsoka a final lesson in the world between worlds, and then his presence at the end of the season, which was an absolute delight. 3 for Josh. World War II style dogfights. And number 2 for Josh is all of the lightsaber fights, which are, as we said, terrific. Number 2 for Father Jimmy, Thrawn's entrance. Such a powerful way to introduce a live-action version of one of the greatest villains. Wow, I'm glad. No, it was, the way they brought him in was kind of unforgettable. I mean, it was so grand. And that's perfect. He is Grand Admiral Thrawn. It was very grandiose. But my number 1 for me, I don't know how I could pick anything else. It's, as a lover of literature and storytelling and as an educator, when I saw a line, when Hugh Yang says a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I had goosebumps. I almost got choked up because they were acknowledging the power of story in a powerful story, celebrating the story of Star Wars. And just a wonderful meta communicative aspect of that, which I find invigorating as a fan of lore and mythology, like I said. And mythology, remember, is just a Greek word which means story. This is a mythology. This is a wonderful story. And the fact that they say a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away is almost perfection. It's such a delight, such a wonderful nod to the power of this story and how it has just completely enveloped us in the grandeur of what it is. Terrific. Absolutely terrific. All right, let me go back. Adams number 1, Ray Stevenson as Baylan Skoll. Rest in the Force, Ray, you will be missed. I'm nodding my head. I did mute myself to cough. But yes, I agree. He will absolutely be missed. Rest in peace, my friend. He was terrific in this series. A good man, too. Really nice guy. Carries in 1, Ahsoka and Anakin / Vader in a world between worlds with flashbacks to Clone Wars as perfection. I was off the couch freaking out, smiling with goosebumps. I get it. So great. Jason's number 2 is Hugh Yang. Tells the story even if it was hard for Ahsoka to hear. Awesome. Ties into my number 1. Minda's number 1 is Ahsoka's overall journey. She's still on the hunt for Thrawn. But she was struggling with completing Sabine's training, fearing that she would fall into a dark path. Yet regardless of her fear, she's able to turn herself around and create a new path for herself with a stronger conviction to trust in herself and the Force, which she does ultimately, which was great. Robert's number 1 is Ahsoka's final duel with Morgan Elsbeth. That was terrific. The choreography on that was just mind-blowing. Mary's number 1, the casting choice for many of the characters, especially Ray Stevenson as Baylan Skoll. I agree. He was terrific. He looked the part. He had the great gravitas. He was wonderful. Carrie says my number 1 is spot on. Thank you, Carrie. Number 1 for Terry, the characters of Ezra and Thrawn maturing, portrayed in exactly the same manner they were in Rebels. Yes, and that's important. And it's important to us because we want to believe it's the same character, even though they're different mediums, and I feel like this was really done well. Darren's 1 is the whole feel of the show had a real feeling of Star Wars, from the effects to the wipes. Excellently produced. Absolutely agree. Blake says he didn't finish the series, so I can't add much texting, but my brother about Hayden coming back was a highlight. Star Wars has always been more special with my family, and those little moments I hold on to. And as it should be. As it should be. And I'm glad that you enjoyed that. Number 1 for Father Jimmy, Balin Skoll, an intriguing character that was played brilliantly and opened so many possibilities for the future of the Force. Yes, and they're so good at that. Jason's number 1 is, he is where he needs to be. We are where we need to be. That was cool. That was cool. Just very present. Mr. Fudge is here. He says, number 1 for Mr. Fudge is when Ezra makes a lightsaber with a piece of his Kanan Jarrus lightsaber. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Oh, gosh. I could have probably squeaked that in and maybe made it a tie, number 5, because I like that too. I love Kenan's lightsaber. Josh's number 1 is the world building. Wonderful feelings watching each week. Wasn't it great? And this is the second week in a row now where I can't say, hey, it's time to watch Ahsoka, because it's not going to be on. But I'm hoping that when we see more Star Wars, that we will still be able to do these live shows an hour before they drop on Disney Plus, so we can have that communal aspect where we watch together. I love that. It was the group watch idea where it's appointment viewing. We're all enjoying it together around the world. It just made it extra special as opposed to getting up super early in the morning and it drops at 2 a.m. I just think this just makes more sense, and I loved it. But you're probably wondering, Dan, what are we going to do now? Ahsoka's over. What is the next thing we're going to talk about on CWK Live? Well, I think you'll be happy about this. I'm looking forward to it. We are going to do something I have not done, believe it or not, since they first aired. We are going to watch together Star Wars The Clone Wars Overlords. If you know what I'm talking about, and I'm sure you do, that means we're going to watch the Mortis trilogy, the 3 episodes. Every week we'll watch 1 episode. Next week will be Season 3, Episode 15 of The Clone Wars. It is called Overlords. It is the first part in the Mortis trilogy arc. It ties in, of course, quite directly into Ahsoka. And we're going to give our top 5 moments. It'll be a great chance to rewatch it and sort of see what we notice about it. And I think it's going to be powerful. Really, really looking forward to that. Mita says, talk about a deep cut from the past. I know but I haven't watched it, and I've never, ever reviewed these. Ever. I've never reviewed these on Coffee with Kenobi because we only did, because Clone Wars was on way before CWK. And then we did reviews of the Netflix season, which was season 6, I believe, and then season 7, which was on Disney Plus, but I haven't done the other ones. I didn't want to start from the beginning. That would take way too long to get to Mortis. So we're just going to kind of pop around, see what happens. Carrie's excited. Mary says, nice. Yes, I'm excited too. Jason says, so glad I was able to join the chat tonight. I love the podcast. Jason, we love that you are here. Thank you for joining us, buddy. Blake says, that's going to be wild. Now, dude, I'm so excited about this. Terry says, I love the story arc. Watched it a few weeks ago and we'll look forward to watching them again. Yeah, I'm really planning on going all in on Mortis because I want to see what's going on here. All right, speaking of what's going on, I want to know, well, I don't even know how to transition this. So speaking of what's going on, we're going to go and ask Tansy. How about that? All right, it's time to ask Tansy. Look, if there's a moment from Ahsoka you want my opinion on, or anything Star Wars related, or you want to ask me about podcasting, or what I had for breakfast. I don't know why you'd ask me that. It was probably oatmeal. That's what I always have. Not very exciting. This is your chance to ask me. I'm happy to talk, share my opinions on stuff, or watching it all together. I don't think I'm going to be able to make that work on my schedule, but that would be so fun. They took away the group watch option on Disney Plus, I believe, so it won't be able to happen, but it's going to feel like it, right? Because we're all going to watch it, take notes, and make our top 5 list. I'm looking forward to it because like I said, last time I saw them was when they first aired, years and years and years ago. So obviously a lot of talk has been done. As I've said ad nauseum, I don't speculate and I don't connect dots that don't exist, but I do think it's worthy of literary analysis. And I know this is a great group to do that. Mario said, what is Mason's Halloween outfit for the year? That's a great question. He's actually going to be Steph Curry. He loves Steph Curry. He loves the Warriors. And I'm glad that he likes Steph Curry because You know, I'm a Bulls fan. I recognize talent and hard work when I see it, and Steph Curry is one of those guys that never gives anything but his best. So I'm glad that Mason is a fan. Okay, well, I want to thank you all so very much for joining me on CWK Live. A little bit quicker of a show, but that's okay. I hope that you all had a great time. I'm looking forward to talking about this more with you. This week we've got a special Coffee with Kenobi. Members of the Coffee with Kenobi community are going to join me, and we're going to talk about the Halcyon. Now, we've talked about it before, but I feel like I didn't give it a proper goodbye because we were covering Ahsoka, and that was important. But now the dust has settled and the emotions have kind of gone through a lot of things, we're going to talk about the Halcyon and what we loved about it, and maybe fill you all in on it. So just to kind of I want you to feel like you're part of it, because you are, right? You're part of this Coffee with Kenobi Star Wars community. Is there going to be a CWK logo with the CWK shirt with the 10-year logo? You know what? I have the logo. I just didn't put it on the T Public store, but I will, Father Jimmy. Thank you for reminding me. Mary, I will pass along your well wishes to Mason about his costume. Meantime, may the force be with you. Blake says, love my CWK family. Yeah, man, it's great to see you. Always great to have you on. Always great to have you on too, Mary. Have a wonderful week. Appreciate you all. Don't forget, in the summer 2025, we're going on Disney Wish, Coffee with Kenobi, and Mouse Fan Travel, MBI and Mouse Fan Travel. Please be thinking about saving your Republic credits or your time so that you can join us. I would love to have you join us on Disney Wish. When I have more information, I will let you all know. Carrie, I hope you have a great week too. Thank you so much again, everybody. It means the world to me that you take time out of your busy schedules on Tuesday nights to join me, and I look forward to the next time. Thank you so much once again. Have a great week. We will see you on Thursday on Coffee with Kenobi on the podcast. Bright suns, rising moons, and thank you, everybody. Good journey. Remember, this is a live podcast you're looking for. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.